Hi guys, Artiar here. So for this video, it's about the Petros early look video. I'm gonna explain through what Petros is able to do, what he's good at, and what he's bad at. So before I start the video, I would have to let you guys know that this video, when I'm recording, this is on PTR server, which is on test server. So everything I'm gonna say or I'm gonna show you guys is not the final version, because I don't want to see like after they release on global something changes and you guys thought that it's a nerf, or something changes that you guys think it's a buff, because anything on the PTR server is not the finalized version. Okay, so this is Minotaur. I don't know if I pronounced wrong correctly. This is Minotaur, which is Petros, and let's take a look at the model. Okay, so this is the Petros model. Overall, I really like the design. It seems like the element that he used is not just the Minotaur bull itself, it also combined with the maze or the pillar of their building elements into this Minotaur. I do see some of the comments like people mentioning about Petros. This name is like kind of like what, Peter, and something like behind the lore is about like maze or what, which is actually true, because if we look at the Dislyte art here, like he used to be a kid, and then he's like trapped in a maze, then he keep drawing like maze, and then in the end he actually get experiment by horrified experiment and make him into a Minotaur Esper. So you have to know that all in the game in Dislyte, a lot of player like did complain about his design not being a pure furry, but we have to know that all this god is actually just the god of the power put into the human body. So it might not be a full furry, or it might change the design. So we cannot always expect the design as what we thought. But I do think this is a creative way to represent this different god design or elements into a character. That's what makes Dislyte unique. Okay, so this is the design part I'm going to comment on. And then the Dislyte D3, it gives crit damage plus 15% in combat, which means the whole combat, he will always have the crit damage plus 15%. It's not like Gaius. Gaius one is crit damage plus 25%, but only the first time and the only when he goes into god mode. But for Minotaurs here, the crit damage in combat, which is forever. So as long as it's in combat, which is basically every time, right, you'll get a crit damage plus 15%. It is pretty easy and straightforward to understand. Then the main stats you're getting is main attack and HP stats as well. Okay, then rival rune wise, you're going to have Astro set and Artiar set. So you can consider his rival rune set is kind of like Jiangjiu Li set as well, right? Decent speed, decent HP, decent attack, high crit damage and crit rate. Okay, then let's take a look at the leader buff. So he have a leader buff of attack plus 40% for point war, knockout, and beat bout. Basically all PvP content other than warm-up match and triple threats. Okay, though what does his skill does? S1 is pretty straightforward as well. Attack one enemy, damage is 3% of his max HP and 50% of his attack. Able to increase to 80%. And he have an extra damage, which is the lower the enemy HP, the higher the damage. So if the enemy have like max HP, your S1 won't deal a lot of damage, because the multiplier itself isn't that high, because it's only 80% attack, and 3% max HP isn't that high as well, to be honest. So he's more, instead of S1 dealing a lot of damage, he's more like a finisher. Because if you are able to make the enemy HP lower than certain percent of HP, then his S1 will deal a lot more damage. Okay, then passive. So passive is where he makes him very strong in a lot of content. So if you cannot trigger his passive, he is not strong, because his S1 and S3 damage wise isn't that crazy. All his main DPS output is actually from his passive. So what does his passive does? Enemy with HP below 20% cannot receive certain ally ability effect. Keep note, I know a lot of you actually mistaken with this part. You thought this thing actually affects on self effect. You thought like Genie's self-healing will not affect, Anna's self-revive, Sujue's self-revive, Hyde's self-revive, all these things won't proc? No, which is wrong, because this effect only limit the effect that is ally ability effect, such as Ollie's S3 effect that you try to prevent someone to die, Sujue's delay effect, Mavis effect, all these things that is come from your ally will not trigger when your HP is below 20%. Okay, then this thing including healing, which means when the enemy HP is 20% below, then their healer will not able to heal them. So basically they are dead in a way. That's what Petros is going to do. Petros is trying to make enemy when it's low HP, they don't have the chance to turn the table because they are not able to receive healing. They are not able to reskill the HP. So reskill the HP, I think, is redistribute the HP like the Sally S2. I'm not sure about this part. Then bonus turn effect will not trigger, like Anna bonus turn effect. All these things won't trigger. The buff you cannot get buff from your ally. You cannot dispel the debuff that you get. You cannot have death immunity. The thing like Ollie S3, like Mavis. Who else have death immunity? I only know this few, right? And then delay death, which is from Sujue's funeral rite prop will not trigger as well. It will trigger, but it will not delay the death. Later I'll show you some showcase at the back of the video, and you cannot get AP push as well, and also cannot reduce the ability cooldown. But all these things here is only the effect from your ally. So for yourself, even though you are 20% below, if your kit itself is like Hades set, or your skill can lifesteal, your skill can reduce your own ability, then everything there will not get affected by this passive, because this passive is only limiting the ally. Okay, this is important because you have to know the difference between ally and non-ally. Okay, then another effect. When an enemy HP is below Petros HP, so this is not max HP, this is Petros' own HP, which means if my Petros is 100% HP and the enemy is 99% HP, then Petros will not get affected by their ability effect. But even though, let's say Sujue have like 20k HP, your Petros have like 90k HP, technically max HP wise your Petros is a lot more HP, right? But if your enemy Sujue is 100% HP and your Petros is 90% HP, this will consider the enemy HP is higher than your Petros HP. It should be like this, because from what I tested in PTR, it should be like this, but I could be wrong for this part, because it's pretty hard to keep track every single HP. But from what I've tested, when both sides is 100% HP, it will not get affected by their ability. But the moment Petros HP went to like 90% or 80%, it will start to get affected by the ability effect by the enemy. So this is my assumption, it's not the finalized version. Okay, then when taking hits, your final damage reduced by 25% and you can go up to 50%. So how do you increase the final damage reduced? For every 1000 HP higher than the enemy, your final damage reduced by additional 5%. So basically, technically, you always have 50% of final damage reduction. Okay, because Petros is pretty high HP as well, so anyhow you kind of have a slightly more HP advantage than the enemy, unless enemy is like a HP build as per. Okay, then another effect. When an enemy HP is below 30%, Petros enters, I don't know how to pronounce this mode, so I'll consider this as demon mode for 2 turns. So you can consider this like Jiang Julie's demon mode, but the condition is different. Jiang Julie's demon mode is when himself going to die, he will go into demon mode. So which means no matter how, he will still proc the demon mode. But for Petros, he have actually possible to not proc the demon mode and he just die. Because the condition is when any enemy HP is below than 30%. So let's say the enemy team is so tanky and you're not able to make any single enemy to go their HP below 30%, then Petros will not go into the demon mode. If he is not able to go into his demon mode, he is not a strong fighter, because all his main DPS output is actually from his demon mode, which I'll cover it later. Alright, so when he goes into demon mode, he'll clear all his debuff and recover HP to 100%. So he instantly get the max HP and then gains a bonus turn. This ability cooldown will not affect by any ability, so you cannot use like Nusi, you cannot use like Uday to reset this cooldown to let him keep going into demon mode, which is 4 turn cooldown. Okay, but it can affect by equipment. So Ocean Wave set on him will affect his cooldown if you want to keep going him to demon mode. But I don't think Ocean Wave is a good set for him, because the moment he go into demon mode one time, he basically can wipe the whole team of the enemy if your Petros DPS build is enough. Okay, so why did I say his demon mode is so important? So this demon mode here will give you an extra attack, crit damage and counter attack chance by 25%. This attack and crit damage stacks with other buff, which is the other attack up buff or crit damage buff that you provide will stack them, which means you further increase the 25% attack and 25% crit damage. And you have a counter attack chance of 25%, which is kind of like a self-built Avatara set when he's in demon mode. And he also have life steal, which is 100% of the damage deal. No matter how many damage he deal, he just recover back the HP. Then here comes the main DPS output. After casting any ability, which is you cast S1 or you cast S3, after that he'll perform a pursuit attack, and this pursuit attack will consider 2 hit. Okay, then this 2 hit here is a guaranteed critical hit, because it's that deal critical damage. So this damage here per hit is 15% of the target's max HP, up to 30% of the Petros max HP. So basically, this damage here, no matter how strong the enemy is, it will take a 30% of the max HP damage, and this max HP damage can be crit. That's what makes him so pain for his demon mode. And if this damage doesn't kill them, it will stun them for 1 turn. It cannot be resist and cannot be missed. So it's either when he go into demon mode, he use this pursuit attack to kill you. If he don't kill you, you'll get stunned. Okay, that's his main DPS output. So to make Petros strong, you have to actually have a team to make him able to let at least one enemy to go under 30% HP to let him be really a true fighter, or else he doesn't really do too much of the damage. So S3 wise, what does the S3 does? S3 will give himself attack up buff and crit damage up buff for 2 turns, attack one enemy 2 times. So this is a 2 hit multi-hit that damage 3% of max HP and 50% of the attack, and the lower the enemy HP, the higher the damage. The multiplier can go up to 75%. Okay, so that basically is a 150% attack and a 6% of max HP attack that deals 2 hit. And this thing is actually pretty pain, but if enemy is on max HP, it deals not much of the damage, because your main DPS output is still from the lower the enemy HP, the higher the damage. Okay, so what does the resonance does? Resonance from R1, the demon mode thing will reduce the cooldown by 1 turn. Your R2 effect, when the enemy HP is below than 50%, Petros will go into the demon mode. So originally your condition is 30%, it will increase up to 50%. So it makes Petros condition into the demon mode a lot more easier. So R2 is where he starts to be a lot more crazier and stronger. So if you're talking about R0 wise, is it playable? Definitely playable. Just that it's harder to hit the condition, that's all. Okay, then for R4 here, it will deal a lot more damage when enemy is low HP. Then R6 effect here, the enemy which below 30% will not receive certain ally ability effect, which is the passive here. The originally 20% you're not able to receive any certain ally ability effect. It increased the threshold into 30%. So R6 effect wise isn't something too broken. So R6, but the thing that makes him more stronger is the R2 effect. Okay, so for those wheel player, R2 effect is where you want to stop, and R6 is not necessary to go, but it does help a bit with the 10% threshold, but not that impactful. Alright, then ascension wise, you're gonna get crit damage bonus, attack bonus, and HP bonus, which is everything that suits for him. So what makes him strong? Is he able to counter Wu Yu? TLDR, if you want to counter Wu Yu, no, he can't. he can't change the Wu Yu meta, or even better, he will join the Wu Yu meta. Because if you really want to make Wu Yu below than 30% to let him go into demon mode, which is pretty hard because usually in top tier PvP, I'm not sure what is the mid tier PvP environment or team comp, but in a top tier PvP team comp, usually they will play Wu Yu with R6 lane and Sakura minimum. And with these two top tier healer in a Wu Yu tank team, it is a very hard thing to actually make the enemy HP below than 30% to let Petros go into the demon mode. So he is not a direct counter to Wu Yu, but can he kill Wu Yu? Yes, if you are able to make Wu Yu's team below than any of the Esper below than 30% of HP, then Petros have the ability to kill Wu Yu. So which tier I would rate him on? I would say he is kinda on the same tier as Wu Yu, or maybe slightly lower than Wu Yu. That would where I will rate him at. Okay, so as I said, everything surround him or the team have to make enemy low HP. So what kind of team suits him the best? In my opinion, I think the best team for him to actually join is actually the Wu Yu team in PvP, or you can actually build him a Cliff team. Tank team is not suitable for him for most cases because most of the tank team we have outside there is not strong enough to make enemy HP below 30%, unless it's a Wu Yu tank team. Or you're gonna play in a speed Cliff team, like let's say Chu Yao combination with him to make him can't even get critical hit because of the Chu Yao Spirit Aegis. This one, the passive here, you'll reduce the critical chance rate by 100%, which makes your Petros even further tankier. And maybe you can pair with like Shen Pin or other Cliff Esper and make at least one Esper below 30%, then he starts to go crazy. Or else, he's not like some meta changer. It's not like some people posted in like the Reddit player base, they say that it's going to kill Wu Yu, which is totally false. He will not kill Wu Yu. He's not a Wu Yu counter, but he's more a counter to the Jinchu Mavis meta. So Jinchu Mavis meta have been last for almost like for 1 year, right? And he is here to break that meta because his passive here will counter Mavis Graveless to not let Mavis able to let the teammate go into Graveless. TLDR, or basically Iki's team. Because if you want to play Iki's team, you have to play Mavis Jinchu to protect Iki most of the time, right? Unless you put Iki in like Wu Yu's team to be annoying. But most of the time, or most of the player will put Iki with Mavis Jinchu in one team. But the fact that since he's able to counter Mavis, which means if you can counter Mavis, then Iki will no longer be in the comfortable zone. It's not in the comfort zone anymore. So this is what Petros is able to counter. And another good news, since Petros is going to play in the PvP meta or the environment, Anna's value actually went up. Because all his damage is single hit. One hit, maybe here got 2 hit. Then if he's managed to go to demon mode, then he have another 2 hit damage. Which means every time he deal damage can only hit 1 time on Anna. The first one of the hit will get blocked, and then the personal attack will only hit Anna. And the reason why Anna is able to counter Petros in a way, that's why I say Anna's value went higher. Because Anna S1, the thing that deals true damage is the 20% of the enemy current HP. And since you're gonna build Petros with high HP in a way, right? So that damage from Anna's S1 poke actually deals a lot more damage than usual. So in a way, Petros actually counters Iki, and Petros will be a hard counter to Iki. It will be the same tier with Wu Yu, but Anna can counter Petros. Okay, so this is the part I'm going to explain about the Petros kit, and at the end of the video I'll put some of the clip that proves that how his passive work, like the Mavis Graveless is not working, Sujue's R2 prop will not be working, something like that. I'll put it at the end of the video. So if you want to see like team build showcase, I will not be doing that at the moment because this is on PTR. It's not fully utilized with the resources. If you want to see a full team combo for Petros, you're gonna wait for global server, and maybe then I will make a full Petros team comp build. So for those players who is still thinking should you get Petros, so if you are a Speed Cliff player, if you want to play Speed Cliff player, or if you already have Wuyu, then you can play Petros. Then if you have R6 Lien and Sakura and you are still considering should you get Petros or Wuyu, I would say get Wuyu. Okay, then if you are still considering if you want to get Iki or Wuyu or Petros, you consider between Wuyu and Petros which playstyle you prefer more. But Iki will definitely drop by 1 tier because it will get counter, because Petros can counter Mavis, so Mavis will no longer provide a very good protection environment for Iki. Okay, so hope you guys enjoyed the video and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye. Oh, by the way, fun fact. His favorite is actually Xiaoyin. Okay, then if you wonder who is Xiaoyin, Xiaoyin is a flow type epic esper. This little dude here, he is Xiaoyin. Alright, that's all. Bye bye. Okay, if I hit you, go into demon mode. Oh, maybe this one can't even trigger as well. Maybe they cannot go Graveless. Pretty fun. He can counter certain meta that we have been looking to like have been a very long time, right? Which is maybe Shinchu meta. Nullified. Oh, he didn't even get the embla seed stat because his HP is higher than embla. So I feel like it's definitely on a speed team. Maybe speed meta is back, you know. Okay, let me try to kill you. Oh, Fushi embla is still here. Fushi passive is higher priority than him. The never die. Wait, where is it? Okay, I'll hit you. Okay, so it does trigger Sujue's passive to 8 stack. It reduced by 1 stack. Then Sujue still procs the R2 effect to hit on Petros, but it did not delay the death, which is Petros passive. The death, where is it? Delay death. This one is for what's that called? Sujue. Then death immunity is for Ollie. Special thanks for the direct support on the YouTube membership. So for the benefactor of Artiar, which is JenMP, Rosas15, Molcult Rajali, The Bluest Trelane, Pidget Roulette, Kemi, thank you so much for the support. And for the supporter and patron of Artiar, which is Louis Schneider, Acne, Code Wardeners, Wang Tamer, Ziggy, Kamaruki, Sunwatts, Rimu, Choni, Von Hexa, Luxley, Rawson Bessie, Antonio Winterspoon, Marlene Williams, and Uncle Chat. And that's not all. Also special thanks for the direct support on the live stream super chats. This chat here is only for the latest 10 super chat member will be listed here. So thank you for Acne, Choni, Ziggy, Pidget's Roulette, Code Wardeners, and Rosas15. Thank you so much for the support and hope you guys enjoy the video. Bye bye.